Hey fellas, how you doing? Happy Sunday. Finished my push-ups and sit-ups. Only did half my walk. I'll show you what we got going on here. Today we got the NFL Red Zone. Woohoo! Very excited about that. There were some really good fights in Paris, France yesterday. I think it's called the Accor Center. Some fairly brutal knockouts, and the main event delivered. But what I want to do is I'm going to tell you three stories today, and I'm going to do them in separate ones so I don't eat up too much of your time. Let me show you what we're working at. And I cannot tell you, the mountain's green. It rained all day, most of the day and most of the night last night. I'll show you. So there's the mountain. I'll see if I can get in there. Normally it's brown and you can't see it because if there's any wind, it's all dusty. So let me come back out here. So it's trees, all the bushes look healthy. And I haven't watered the yard in a while. The pool's looking pretty good. Just some residual stuff. Oh, what I found out was that yellowy orange stuff is from, I didn't know this, but the female palm trees consistently drop this, where they drop off their seeds, or semillas in Spanish. It also gives off like a feathery little thing. Hey, let me just go in here and talk to you. All right. First one is about why I really love my mother-in-law. So last night was a family dinner, and I always sit either at the table or beside my mother-in-law on one side or the other, and her sisters and the rest of that. Now she's from a family of 15. I'll give you some of her backstory so that it'll make sense. She was a Chihuahua princess and came from a family that had a cattle ranch. And I mean, it was a pretty big cattle ranch in Chihuahua, Mexico. That's the state she's from. So at one point in time, after her father passed away, being as she had 14 other brothers and sisters, they decided not to keep the ranch, and they sold it. And within a couple of years, they were all broke. So she and her mother and all of them basically kind of split up. And my mother-in-law, my suegra, came up here to Chihuahua, and she was actually a singer on the radio back in the day. In fact, she talks about taking horses and buggies and stuff. So anyways, I think she's 75, 76 years old. Maybe, yeah, I think it's like that. Okay, so anyway, so last night we're at the dinner, and she's sitting across, and it's a long table, like a cafeteria table with chairs in that, and it's a pretty big place. And there's maybe 50 of us in there. And I can say us because all families should have at least one white guy in there, all right? Anyways, now I hope this doesn't sound crazy to you, but somebody has to be able to talk to the cops. So, okay, let me move on. So I'm sitting, my swagger is sitting here, and I'm sitting on the right-hand side of her. And there's a younger girl, a teenage girl, maybe, I think her name is Martina, and she's just being a very bad teenager, talking back to her mother, getting loud and da-da-da-da-da. What they were arguing about is she wanted to get a tattoo right here on her chest. Anyways, and that's now my mother-in-law's just sitting there with their hands folded, watching all this kind of stuff going on, and she starts talking back to her mom and getting kind of loud, and pretty much the whole table goes quiet. And this, I think, put the girl, I think, Martina, thought that put a spotlight on her, and she started. And she's already got like too many earrings. And anyways, let me just. And my mother-in-law stood up, and she leaned over the table and stuck her finger in the girl's face, and she said, "Tu falta respeta," which is you lack respect. And that's a nice, kind way of saying, you just like her. So you're being disrespectful to the table, to all the people here, and the rest of the guy. And the girl went to say something, and three of my wife's my mother-in-law's brothers got up and they told her, hey. And I guess I think it's dueña. They refer to my mother-in-law as la dueña de la familia. And I don't know what you call it, boss or whatever it is, but anyways. And after that, that's the difference. That's what I always wanted in a family. Now I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up with any type of big family events. And anyways, it doesn't matter. It's one of the traditional values and families are a good. It's just really nice. And the other thing that happened is when you come in, you always go around and you introduce yourself or say hello to everybody, and they hug and kiss you and shake your hand and hug you like they've known you your whole life, which I kind of like. I didn't at first. I was like, but now I'm cool with it. But all the kids were avoiding one of my mother-in-law's sisters. And one of the little girls she was mad. She was tussling around. I'm not going over there. I'm not going to, she's always mean and da 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 da. Evidently, one of my mother-in-law's sisters pinches the girls either on their neck or on their ears really hard to where it leaves a mark. And my mother-in-law went over and dealt with her. And I don't know. None of us got into it. They just both went off into a corner and they were waving their arms around and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen anymore. And it's just, there's structure in the family. There's a hierarchy in the family. It's just a nice culture to be around and see how different kids and family can grow up than like I grew up in what I called Highland Park, Detroit ghetto culture, thug culture. I left. I have a GED. Well, I got that when I was in the army. Hey, it doesn't fucking matter. It's not about me. I think it is far more important than anybody wants you to believe that family. I believe in family big time now. I wish I would have been a lot smarter when I was younger about women, and I wouldn't have got the girl with the big boobs and the big butt and the pretty face. So, yeah, because I had to go through a formal process to get married to my wife. Anyways, they vetted me. I was like, anyways. And if I would have had a Mexican family, my family would have vetted them to make sure that my wife Maria was good enough for me, or they would approve. It's just, it may seem like back in the old day, but I think it works. I don't know any of them that have really gotten divorced other than physical abuse where the wife or the guy was actually put in the hospital. So hope I'm not oversharing, but yeah, you should have seen the teenager's eyes. She was going to bow up to my suegra, and three of her uncles stood up and were like, what? I don't know if you know that, but if you get into a fight with your wife and you smack her around in Juarez, and I don't know about the rest, nothing's going to happen to you. I'm telling you that's what, and I know guys that'll say, hey, look, if your wife's being bad, just cross the border with her and teach her a lesson. I don't do that, but anyways, I think that's way too much, but anyways, all right, love you guys. I'll see you later. I got two more. None of them are dramatic, and I don't know if I'll get to them before, after, or during the games, but this is I'm having a really good, it doesn't matter about me. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can, and if you can't, take care of yourselves. Like a fart in a G-string from West Texas, El Paso. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.